What do stock car racing and a real-life family saga have in common? Hey everyone, I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett.
Welcome to the Leah and Garrett Show, where we dig into fascinating stories.
And today's topic, Bobby Allison, the superstar of NASCAR and stock car racing. You know, watching pit crews work their magic on cars really got me into woodworking. The way they build and fix things just amazed me. Bobby Allison, well, he kind of reminds me of that, being super resourceful with the whole low-budget team thing.
That resourcefulness is a huge part of why Bobby is so interesting. I mean, he was born in Miami in 1937, which isn't exactly the heart of racing, but it's where his story began.
Yeah, and then there's the whole Wisconsin chapter, right? After high school, he worked at Mercury Outboard Motors, thinking maybe he'd have a stable career. But fate had other plans. He caught the racing bug.
Returning to Miami in 1956, he went full throttle into racing despite his family's concerns. And what's fascinating is how he moved to Alabama in 1959 and formed the Alabama Gang. It was like a legendary crew emerging on the Southern racing scene.
I totally get where you're coming from. And Bobby wasn't just a NASCAR guy. We're talking about IndyCar, Trans Am, Can-Am, which are all different racing formats. It shows just how versatile he was.
Versatile, indeed. He debuted in the NASCAR Cup Series in 1961, moving and shaking his way up. But when he chose to race with AMC Matador's less conventional cars, that was a baller move.
Yeah, that's a solid point. The Alabama Gang didn't just race cars. They crafted a culture around racing. It's like they were building a legacy from Hueytown, Alabama.
I mean, the 1979 Daytona 500, that famous fistfight with Cale Yarborough. It was intense and put NASCAR on the map, bringing a ton of new fans.
That's pretty wild, right? While managing a low-budget team, Bobby's skill and perseverance made him a fan favorite. The fact that he rose to become the NASCAR Winston Cup champion in 1983 is crazy inspiring.
And let's not forget 1988, winning the Daytona 500 at age 50, making him the oldest winner there. Talk about defying expectations.
But of course, his personal life had its challenges, like he endured the tragedy with the loss of his sons, Clifford and Davy. That kind of loss, it casts a long shadow.
Totally. Despite facing so much, he kept pushing forward, and that makes his induction into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2011 even more impactful.
Now let's talk about this Bumpergate incident in 1982 at the Daytona 500. I get the need for creativity in engineering, but at what point does it risk fairness and safety?
Good point, Garrett. Let's shed some light on this. Bumpergate. That's when teams were creatively engineering, sometimes bending rules. It's part of racing's allure, though, isn't it?
Sure, but keeping it real, you gotta ensure safety stays a priority. Racing isn't as thrilling if it's especially risky beyond what's expected, right?
Agreed, balance is key. By the way, we couldn't find too much on how pop culture picks up Bobby's story, which is such a missed opportunity.
Imagine this, a biopic with maybe someone like Kevin Costner or Eric Bana capturing Bobby's charisma and grit. That's pretty cool, right?
Absolutely. Bobby's story is one worth exploring. Human resilience, innovation, and triumph. And wow, the tech innovations his career led to.
Yeah, after his 1987 Talladega crash, NASCAR made crucial safety reforms. I'd love to study those tech innovations. It's like a puzzle to solve.
And I'm drawn to those raw human stories within racing. They're full of resilience and fortitude. Let's definitely keep this conversation going. So stay curious about these thrilling stories. Until next time.
Yeah, stay curious. Though Leah, I'm often daydreaming about racing around while practicing my woodworking, having a blast multitasking.
Watch out, Garrett. Multitasking on the racetrack could lead to a pileup.